Hi, this is Frank Hill, and I have a video here to introduce you to um, mobile apps using Android. And the tool is going to be Android Studios, and the application is a basketball ticket application. That is, you'll enter the number of tickets, and the application will calculate the price and taxes and associated data. So let's take a look at what the application looks like now. That is, I'm going to show you the screen, and then we'll go through the steps of actually creating the application with Android Studios. This picture shows you what the finished product will look like. The rest of the video goes on to describe how we get there. Okay, we're going to create a small Android native mobile app, and as always, the environment for development needs to be set properly. And in this case, what it involves is downloading and installing Android Studio 3.1. After initial install, you're going to be prompted to update your current install, and you need to keep working with your Studio install until all updates are completed. You'll also need to find an emulator that works well with your computer. This emulator works well these emulators work well on newer computers that have this version of Android. If your debugging runs slow, you'll have to get a physical tablet or phone and use that for debugging. You are now ready to follow instructions for this video. And if you have trouble with the installation procedure above, go to Google and put in keywords for whatever problem you're having. Okay, the title of this application will be Basketball Tickets, and the application has the simple task of collecting the number of tickets, calculating the total price, and applying a discount if the number of tickets is greater than or equal to 10, and applying a 20% discount if the number of tickets is greater than or equal to 20. Okay, I'm going to open up Android Studios. It's stable now. This version is. And you can see it coming up. New project. And I'm going to call it My Hell, HELLO new. And that's all I need to do here. You'll notice it has a domain name, but that name doesn't really matter. It could be anything. I'm going to click next. And it gives me a chance to pick the earliest version of Android. So I'm going to pick KitKat. That's API 19, and that will run 90% of devices. So it's going to be a phone or tablet. So I'll click next. And now I want to get a basic activity. Click next again. And it gives me an activity name and a layout name. The main activity is where the code's going to be. And then I'll just click finish. and it's actually building an app for me now. And now it's built. Okay, the application is up now, and it doesn't have any new content, but what I'm going to show you is what it looks like in the emulator before you add any code. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and run the emulator and test the application as it is now with no additional code, just a template. So we're going to go up to run. We're going to click on debug and then click app, and the emulator is not totally up, but it's working. And now the emulator is up. For purposes of this video, I'm going to show you how to put a few widgets on the screen, and then I will go ahead and finish it out and start from there and add the code. So what we want to do is put a layout which is going to, undo that. We want a relative layout. Which I can drag over and extend the entire screen. And I'm going to add 3 buttons. 1 and 2 and 3. Now, placing these on the screen can be fairly tedious. Now I'm going to change the designations on these buttons to reflect what they're actually going to do in the app. I'm going to change the display name and also the code name. The ID for this button should be BTN calculator. And the calculator tells the function, and the BTN says that it's a button. And now I need to change the text associated with it. Scroll down, find, well, let's see, should be a better way. Here's the text, and the text should be calculate. And the next button is going to be clear. The properties, instead of button 2, it'll be BTN clear. And this is so you can identify this button in the code without confusion. And the Okay, made a mistake. BTN clear. And the text is going to be, and then we move on to our third button, which is going to be discount. BTN, and designation is discount. So that does it for the buttons, and I'm going to get rid of Hello World here. Oh, let's undo that. Edit, undo, and to do the Hello World, I'll go to content and text. Okay, that's probably on activity. Okay, let's go back to the content and look at the design. Change it to something else so I can identify it. Now I'll look at the text again. And there's the text view with Hello World, which is what I wanted to get rid of. So let me delete that. And then go back to design, and we're ready to go. What I want to do now is add a text view that I'm going to put the price of the ticket in, and I want it to span the entire width of the app. So I'm going to drag it in here, get it lined up, and then I'm going to go over to properties, and we have wrap content, and I want it to match the parent. So see, it spreads out all the way across the app. Next thing I want to do is change the designation and add some text to it. So let's scroll down here. And what I really want to do is just display fewer items so I can get right to what I want. Okay. So the ID, I want to change that to TXT, or let's say label LBL, and then I want to change the text to 75, or no, ticket .50, and click over here, and you could see that's done. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to center it. So I go to text alignment, and there is a button here, a drop down box, and I click on center, and I've centered the text. Since it takes a little while to get this done, I'm going to put the rest of the widgets on the screen outside of this video, and then I'm going to grab the Java code, add the Java code, and then connect the app up to the buttons. I've added 5 more widgets to the screen, and I'm showing you this again because I want to show you how you get a picture into the app. So I've copied a picture, and I'm going to go over to resources, res, drop this down, and I'm going to select drawables, which is where images go. I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to click OK, and there's my JPEG. And if I can see my JPEG. Okay, so let's go back to test, design. I think what I'll do is I'll do a debug again so that you can see it. So run no run debug app. And here is my emulator coming up. And it's loading. And it doesn't have my app, so let's pause. What I need to do is to add the source of the image that I want included. So I select here, I go to properties, and I need to view all, and I need to go down quite a bit for source. And there is SRC. I'm going to search for it, and there's Iverson. I click on him, and let's do another run with the debugger. And it's coming up. And there's our picture. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do, as I said before, is show you the code. And the code has already been written. I'm not going to spend the time typing it. I will talk about it as I go. What you're looking at here is the main activity Java file, which contains the code that drives the app. the public class main activity, it says extends app compat activity, and this is actually a base class. That is, this class starts with all the capabilities that are there and it extends it. We have three methods that were added for this particular application. One was the public class for the calculator that does arithmetic to get the ticket price, and we have a class, or a method, I'm sorry, that clears the UI, that is the fields where you enter data. It just clears it. And for example, what's happening here is you're finding this total ticket text box, and you're setting it to double quotes, which is nothing. And you're doing the same thing with the number tickets, and you're setting it to nothing. We have another method that just applies the discount, and if let's find it. Okay, if the number of tickets is greater than 20, we're going to apply a 20% discount. So that's just 0.2 times whatever the amount was. And if the ticket amount, the total ticket amount, is greater than or equal to 10, meaning that it's between 10 and 20, the discount is 10%. And we fall through in the else case, and we do nothing if it's because you don't get a discount. And the reason that works is because initially the discount was set to 0. And what you do here is you set the ticket amount to subtract the discount, and then what this statement does is it sets the text box on the UI to the new ticket amount. And in case of errors, we're going to do a stack print, and that can be used for troubleshooting. There's some other initialization code that was generated when we created the blank app. And I won't get into that because it's something that the tool gives you, and you don't need to question it unless there's a problem. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is actually run the app in the debugger and demonstrate that it works. What you see here is the basketball ticket app, and it has all of the fields. Well, two main fields are the ones where your calculations results are, and the number of tickets that you enter. And so the first thing I'll do is just clear this, and now let's put a ticket amount in. We'll put in 9, and calculate, and for 9 tickets it's going to cost $670.50. And then I'm going to go through trying to get a discount for it, and you'll notice that nothing changes because you don't get a discount. So let's clear it again, and I'll put in 25 tickets. And let's calculate, and we get 1857. And so now I'm going to apply for my discount, and I'll give you the new results. And it's 1510. And this will be a application that will be done in the second week of the BDPA computer camp. And with time, they will add students will add more functionality, and since we'll have a lot more time than this video, I'll have more time to spend on the code. I hope you enjoyed seeing this, and in the future I'll probably go another iteration. I will put a link to this app on the BDPA-camp.org website. So, hope you enjoyed this, and hope you get into Android Studio soon.